Thank you again for joining us for the virtual tea party. This is our second virtual tea party. We're having a series. So far we had, I'm sorry, it's our third. So far we had three. The first one is what is happening in the world of work today, about all career specialists really honing in on what is going on in the job market. The one last week was about working while Black. So that was a thing. And we had some good representation from a career director from Princeton, also Morgan's own human resources department. So that was a great conversation. And today we're going to talk about being your own boss and following your dreams, and what does that look like? We have a lot of students. I've been at Morgan for over 3 years now, and everyone has some type of hustle. Yes, Lauren, you are an alum. Everyone has some type of hustle, and how to really build on that, and what does that look like now during the pandemic and everything else. So we're going to have a nice, great conversation with some great entrepreneurs here on this panel. I'm really excited for this panel in particular. We have HBCU alum, we have entrepreneurs from different parts of the industry doing great things. So I can't wait to share with y'all. And without further ado, we're going to talk to the panelists, talk to them, ask them what is their company, their organization, their business, and what do you do? Just introduce yourself. So I'll start with Chanel Turner.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
So my name is Chanel Turner. I am the founder and owner of FOU-DRE Vodka. I started my company, before I get there, I'm a Bowie State alum, so I want to put that out there a little bit. Started my company back in 2009 at the age of 25. Wanted to create a vodka that people couldn't actually just drink straight and actually enjoy. Going through college, even before college, vodka had always been my spirit of choice, but I never actually enjoyed vodka, neat or on the rocks. And wanted to create something different, something new. So I embarked on a journey to find a distillery to kind of bring my ideas to life. So that's just me in a nutshell.
Very nice, very nice. That is excellent. Lauren?
Yes, well, as she said, my name is Lauren Kornegay. I am a Morgan alum. Definitely big ups to Morgan State. I am the founder and executive director for EndoBlack. EndoBlack is a nonprofit that focuses solely on advocating for African-American women and women of color who are affected by endometriosis. Endometriosis is a disorder that a lot of women actually come in contact with. We just do not know about it because of the resources or the lack of education that comes behind it. So that is some of the things that I do. I also work a full-time job as well. So I'll share a little bit about that as well.
Really quick, shout out to entrepreneurs still working a 9 to 5, because I still do as well.
Yes. It's difficult.
Sometimes we have to do
that. Yes. And I can contest, yes.
Sometimes, in order to while we're building our dreams, we have to kind of, maintain that 9 to 5 steady income, so we can fulfill the dreams that we have. So shout out to the entrepreneurs who balance both, man.
Yeah.
Right. I love it. Okay. Question 1 to kick it off. What is the mission of your business? Lauren, you talked about EndoBlack and how it focuses on Black women with endometriosis. What was more of the background to really get that going?
Well, we have some goals that I've set to make sure that we really do make a difference. The first one is to create a safe space. A lot of times, the reason why I started EndoBlack is because when I expressed that lack of representation for African-American women and women of color in support groups, I was always, I don't want to say attacked, but just basically gaslit. I'll say that. And because of that, I realized that, hey, I'm clearly not the only one dealing with this. Let me create something that is a safe space for women so that when they come, they can talk. I'm not here to judge you. You tell your story. If it doesn't, reflect my story, it's okay. we all have our different stories. Also, we want to make sure that we are creating constant discussion and constant education around what endometriosis is, and making sure that communities such as communities which I come from that are lacking resources have this education, and also make sure that they are aware of what's going on. Even if it's not endometriosis, we need to make sure that women are aware of women's reproductive health. Another goal we have is to make sure that we are looking into policies, laws, and regulations in reference to women's reproductive health. A lot of times, as you see, you know, Ruth, I'm so upset about her, but Ruth just recently passed. She is one of the women that have really changed so much for women and then women reproductive health. We have a lot of men making decisions about our health, and they don't have our body. So, you know, I want to make sure that we are looking into laws, looking into policies, looking into regulations to make sure that we are doing these things and make sure that we have stuff for us.
Amen. Yep. Chanel, what is the mission behind your company, your vodka line? Speak on that.
So our mission is to revitalize the taste of ultra premium vodka. We also aspire to evolve and inspire the culture, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but also change the conversation to make a difference. When I started in this industry when I was 25, I literally thought I was the only African-American woman out here. Well, I am the first African-American woman to own a vodka line, but I am not the first African-American to own a spirit. But I didn't know that because African-Americans that are actually proprietors of a spirit brand in this industry aren't highlighted. You really don't know that they exist for the most part. And when I was in this industry for the first couple of years and I walked into a room, it was primarily male, white male dominated. You didn't really see any of us. You really didn't see any women. As the years progressed, Black Wall Street put out an article about the top 20 best Black-owned wine and spirits you should know about. And my brand happened to be on that list. I didn't even know there was 20, but my brand was on the list. I was very excited, but then that kind of sparked an idea about highlighting and bringing visibility to African-Americans that are in this space so that people know that, you know, while you out here buying Tito's and Ciroc and Hennessy, there are Black-owned products out here that that are just as good, if not better, that we could be supporting, that actually circulates the dollar back into our community versus outside of the community. And so that led me to found the Black-owned Wine and Spirit Festival. I founded that in 2016. This year would have been year 5 for that, but that platform was designed to highlight African Americans in the wine and spirit industry so that we could bring visibility to these brands. So, you know, changing the conversation. A lot of people, you know, they just see a lot of rappers and stuff promoting the brands, but don't know there's actually us out here that actually own, and we don't just consume. So want to change the conversation a little bit. I've been able to inspire a lot of other brands and help other brands bring their products to market. So in the 10 years I've been in this industry, a lot has changed for me. I started thinking about myself and my brand and ended up trying to help my people in this industry so we all can rise together. So, yeah.
I love it. That just better be great. So, talking about sustainability, how did you know which dream or how your dream could sustain a business?
You know, that's a tough question. You never really know which dream, right? Or which idea that you have that may sustain a business. You kind of gotta evaluate your passions and your skills and take a leap of faith and, you know, make your dream a reality. You don't really know which specific one, but you have to look within yourself, evaluate your skills, your abilities, the things you're very good at. You know, look at what the world really needs right now and can you provide that? And, you know, take a leap of faith and see what works. I never thought for a second I would be doing what I'm doing today. You know, I come from a IT background. That's what, you know, I'm a nerd, literally. I'm behind the computer doing programming most of the time and never thought I would be on this side of the industry, actually being an owner of a liquor. But it definitely has its benefits. So, but you never really know. I'll just say that, but you have to kind of take a leap of faith and look within yourself and know that this is the one that I'm going to take a chance on and see if it works.
Sounds good. Lauren, what about you?
I would definitely agree with that. As you know, I've done so many different things. I've dibbled and dabbled in so much. I just like to try my hand, and you never know what dream is going to take you there. And a lot of times entrepreneurs aren't doing things because they want to get rich or they want to be famous. They're doing them because they saw a void and they wanted to fill that void. And that's how you know that it was really passion that drives this instead of money. And that's the only way a lot of people are able to really make it. So with that being said, like I said, I've done a lot of different things. I still do a lot of different things. However, when starting this, it was just something about it. I'm very passionate about women reproductive health. I'm passionate about Black women. I'm passionate about just having a voice and sharing it. Did I know it was going to get so big? No. Did I know that we will be celebrating our 5-year anniversary in October? Definitely no. But what I can say is that this was something that needed to be done. And my mom always says that if you see a void, you need to fill that void.
Great. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about support for your business. What support do you or did you need to build your business?
We need all the support. Honestly, to be honest, you can't really do too much without support. We can come up with ideas, missions, goals, graphics, marketing, but if you don't have that target audience, it's a lot that will not happen without them. It is great to have support from your family members and friends, but a lot of times your target audience is not your friends and family. They may be somebody totally different that you're reaching out to. So it is very, very important to have that support, but it's also very important to be genuine to get that support. You don't want to bend over backwards and make false advertisement or do things that aren't appealing or goes along with your brand or your morals just because you want support. So you have to make sure that you align up perfectly with what you want to do. A lot of times people can see right through that.
Chanel?
Yeah, I would definitely say for me, entering in an industry where there's so much red tape, we needed all kind of support, honestly. I mean, when you're seriously, when you're dealing with an industry such as alcohol, it's federally regulated. And you have to jump through so many hoops, and you can only imagine the hoops that you have to jump through as an African American just to get there. And so we needed support on the financial side. Obviously, this is a very, anytime I have a conversation with an individual that aspires to be in this industry, I always let them know that this industry is very, not only time consuming, but it takes up a lot of resources. And I mean that monetarily. It's not something that you can really excel in with $50,000. And so you have to be prepared for that ride that you're gonna take with this. Many times in the 10 years, I'm like, yo, this is too much for me. It's, sucking up a lot of my money. My business is self-funded. So we have yet to raise any capital. We don't have, I own it 100%. And so, and we don't have any debt either. So I haven't taken out any loans or anything like that. So I've been able to sustain my business just based on the revenue we've generated, yet as well as the money I put in when it's necessary. So I kind of let people know, like, you need some real financial backing to make this the real dream that you're trying to make it, or the real reality, should I say. I'm sorry. But we also need support from our community, right? We're selling a product. And so if the community is gun-ho on a particular other vodka, right? Then unfortunately it leaves very little room for us to kind of infiltrate the market. But I think with the right marketing and promotions and the right support from our community, we can do so. We're not saying buy our product because we're Black owned. We're saying buy our product because we are just as good as the competition, or if not better. So give us a try, you know? So that's the thing. We also need to support, like I said, at the federal level. So the TTB, thank God I knew somebody at the TTB that helped push permits through for us, that for some reason one time got lost and then got hung up another time. And so it's just about having the right allies in the right places to help you get to where you're trying to get to. So yeah.
And Bernice, I did want to add as well, she made a really good point when it comes to funding and money. A lot of times you may see people that just are able to become entrepreneurs overnight and just have all this money and put all this money into their craft. A lot of us are not able to do that. That's why we're still working our 9-to-5s, because we have to somehow fund what we're doing. And support and donations goes a long way. And I'm not really big on asking people for money. I'm asking for support. So if you are willing to share the page, share the link, you know, click on it, tell your friends about it, that's still support in some type of way, because everybody's not able to donate.
Right.
So it's important for people to understand that when we say support, we aren't saying give us money, just support us in the best way that you know how, regardless if it's big or small. We are a nonprofit, which means we're a nonprofit. And I don't have the money and the means to do a lot of things that we want to do. However, I'm going to figure out a way to do that, because there are a lot of women with endometriosis that need support and that need help. So I have to keep pushing. Recently, though, I will say that thankfully, God willing, we ended up raising $4,000 this pandemic. Which happened out of nowhere. Like when I tell you happened out of nowhere, people were like, I just want to give to a Black nonprofit. It was like, that's me. So, you know, it just really, really helps. And when you have people that are willing to support you because they agree with your mission, they love your mission, and they want to see some type of change, that's very beneficial. But even if we don't have the support, we have to still keep on pushing and keep on moving. We might have to alter what we do to make sure that we can focus on getting that support from specific demographics.
Wow. I'm glad you talked about that. First question is going to be on marketing. Then I see a great question from the chat that I'll ask both of you. How do you best market your business, especially during the pandemic? Because, you know, COVID then did a whole lot of things. Yes. COVID has raised awareness in all types of places. So how do you best market your business during the pandemic? And then we'll talk about the second question.
Yeah, for me, I just spoke to somebody about this the other day. It actually, I mean, COVID is not good, don't get me wrong, but virtually, we've been doing good. There's been Zoom conferences. We have this thing called Mocktails and Cocktails, and we do that. I think we've done that 3 times already, and I just basically created it off the whim because I saw that there were a lot of women who had endo that struggled at home. Like they may have had some difficulties with mental illness. They may have been by themselves. So it was like a quick check-in, but a quick discussion, fun time, so we can brighten up each other's day. And that has kept us connected so much. Virtually, we've been able to receive donations, like I've mentioned. We did want to do like a big gala this year because of our 5-year anniversary, but instead we have lined up events of, you know, a relaunch of the website. We've been able to do a virtual talk with Lola, a virtual talk with Cora. Like, so we've lined up a lot of different events where we're okay. It has been a challenge. It does take time to just adapt and research because we can't meet with our board members. We cannot meet with the staff, and that kind of gets a little difficult. You still have photo shoots that have to be done. You still have promo videos that have to be done. So you still have to be, you know, mindful of all of that. However, for personally, for us, it hasn't really damaged us in a way because I've been able to just email people like crazy, like I've already been doing. So.
Sounds good. Chanel, what about you?
So prior or pre-COVID, primarily we were doing marketing promotions. If it wasn't via social media or radio ads, It was, you know, from our website. And so once the pandemic hit, we had no idea. And I'll say this, because we're still a new product on the market, right? When we gain a new store or new account, we conduct tastings at these particular locations so that when people are coming in, they know, one, we're now selling in this store, and two, they have an opportunity to taste a product that they have yet to become familiar with. So we're not able to do that right now during COVID. And so that makes sales challenging for us on premise or at a liquor store. However, on the flip side of things, when they deemed liquor essential, sales went out the roof for us, literally.
Listen.
I had no idea that that liquor, when I started this industry, that liquor would ever be considered essential in a situation such as this. And I mean, I understood the rationale behind it, obviously, but I didn't know that. So I always knew that liquor was recession proof, because whether the economy or, you know, things are going great, people drink, and whether things are going bad, people drink. It's just one of those things. I always knew that. But man, I didn't know that sales would go so high. So our online sales, while we lost a lot of sales in liquor stores because people weren't going out, our online sales quadrupled. Took off. And so when we saw that happening, we had to up inventory very quickly and to accommodate all the requests that were coming in. And then when I say online sales, I'm talking about from all over. We primarily only distribute in DC, Maryland, Virginia, Georgia, and most recently we just got Florida. But the sales we were getting were from everywhere: Texas, California, New York, and they were massive. So, which kind of gave us some insight into which market we should probably go to next. Those individuals who are purchasing more FOU-DRE in a particular market right now during the pandemic, kind of gives us an idea, alongside with the sales we were already doing online, kind of gives us an idea of, you know, where we should kind of pinpoint our next market. So yeah, primarily social media. We are doing virtual tastings from a Zoom standpoint of things. We have conducted virtual tastings where we promote, you go out and get a bottle and we give a discount code for you to join in on the virtual tastings, and we teach you how to make one of our signature cocktails. And we have been doing that. Those have been somewhat successful, but I think the online sales have been the most successful for us.
That is good marketing right there.
Lauren said that is marketing. For the mocktail and cocktail, Lauren.
Yes, perfect.
I need to talk. I love it. So that's, I will put the website in the chat. Someone asked for the website, and someone also said I'm about to go online and buy some FOU-DRE.
I know that's right.
Listen, and the funny thing, you talked about the essential part of it, and that was actually the chat question. So you answered that, because we were thinking of that. I was just like, so because it was essential, how did it boom, or what was the impact? Mm-hmm. And yes, the start of COVID, we were just like, all right, what are we gonna do here? Everyone's at home with children, life, school, all of it. What are we going to do here? So
we literally had to change how we operated business. Like, deliveries were scaled back for us. Liquor stores, because, you know, those who wanted to go out were going out. And so we still had to keep our liquor stores stocked. And unfortunately, we did have to lay off some personnel. Like, a lot has happened. While there has been some good, there has been some bad as well, you know? And so my hope is that, you know, once things kind of get back to some normalcy, I'm able to bring back my entire team, because it's been rough. It really has.
Definitely. Oh, wow. And before I open to the chat, again, I'll put the chat in a little bit to see if anyone has any questions. What recommendation would you give a student who wants to build a successful, I can't speak today, fine, business?
I think research is first. You want to make sure you're doing research. A lot of times people say, I want to do this, and they just jump right out there. You have to do research on your demographics, your target audience. You have to make sure that if you are competing with other people, how can you stand out? What makes your organization or business different from anybody else's? Like, why do we want to support you? So I think that those three things in itself are one of the things that you can really focus on. Also, just marketing. How do you want to market your business? Figuring out who you're looking to support, who you're looking to get some type of support from. It really just differs on what you're really looking to do. You want to make sure that you are on a scale where you're not just jumping in. I mean, you can jump in, but don't jump in, if that makes sense, because you have to have faith. I'm not telling you don't jump in, but if it don't make sense, don't do it. You know, I think those are the biggest things, because we think that, okay, yes, we have faith, but without faith and work, it won't work. So you have to make sure you have those two together when you're starting a new business, when you're looking into a new adventure. And that's, for me, that's probably it. I'm sure that she's going to hit on some points, and I'm going to agree with her too.
Well, I definitely agree with all the points you mentioned. You know, I literally paid to learn in this industry, and I mean money, right? And I don't mean like I went to workshops to learn the industry. I literally learned by trial and error, and that cost me a lot of money. That's what I meant by paid to learn. I think it's highly important when you're entering an industry that you're unfamiliar with, like myself. I told you I come from an IT background. So liquor is not an industry I'm familiar with other than consuming it, right? You must find someone, a mentor of some kind in that industry to help you along the way, or to at least show you the ropes. Had I done that in the beginning, I would have avoided a lot of pitfalls that I fell into. To her point as well, I mean, from a marketing standpoint, my target demographic coming out of the gate wasn't isn't who my target demographic is today, right? I was actually targeting millennials, right? And so, but our target consumer today ranges anywhere between 40 and up, 35 and up. And that's primarily because, and we've learned this, that's primarily when you reach a certain age, it's about the quality of the spirit. You ain't just trying to get drunk. And so therefore, the younger, they don't care. They just like, listen, I want a bottle of this. Oh, this rapper or this person is doing this. I want to get that. It's not about the quality. It's not about, you know, how good the spirit is in. And so we realized that. And so we kind of shifted how we market our product a little bit, because we're trying to look at the repeat customer. I'm not trying to have somebody come buy a bottle today and they're never going to come back. I look at the people that, you know, are a repeat customer. So I think it's important, like I said, that you find you someone in the industry that can mentor you. I've been, like I said, now a mentor to a lot of people coming behind me, but I didn't have that coming up. So I've been able to help a lot of people avoid the pitfalls that I fell in. But also, if you can, build a working prototype if it's a product, right? See if you have something that's tangible that the market can resonate with the market, right? You don't want to just jump into a market, you ain't put a prototype out there or anything like that. And then some market validation, right? Making sure that the product, you know, when we started, we did only 2 focus groups. And I kind of wish we had did some more, but we did 2. We did 2 focus groups where we conducted focus groups on the taste of the vodka compared to other brands, as well as the packaging. And that's important because you get an idea to see how people are going to respond to your product before actually going to market. These are people who don't know you, you don't know them. So I think those things are important. So
Chanel mentioned getting a mentor. So I do want to touch on this, right? Because sometimes getting a mentor is not as easy as it may seem.
that.
Also, for me, unfortunately, I literally am the only nonprofit for African-American women with endometriosis. So there is literally nobody out here I don't want to say there's nobody out here that's going to help me, because there are people that are going to help me, but there's nobody from this standpoint that can say, this is what you're going to run into. I'm literally the first person to do that. And that is scary. But sometimes scary is also good. So I don't want anybody to feel like just because they can't find a mentor in that field, because they're the first person, that they should not do it. Being scary or scared is a good feeling when you're trying to make change, money, definitely money, definitely money. But when you're trying to make some things happen. So I do want to put that out there. I still am trying to find a mentor, even if it's a doctor. I feel like that's something that will back me, because this is like a medical nonprofit, if that makes sense. So.
Agreed. I agree with you, Lauren.
That was funny because that was one of the questions in the chat. Any recommendations for finding a mentor? So I'm glad I just rolling. I love it. Another thing that we pointed out, or that y'all pointed out in the beginning, you mentioned that you both still have 9-to-5s. We all still have 9-to-5s. Mm-hmm. And what point do you see yourself being able to solely commit to your business or leaving your 9-to-5 behind? That is a question in the chat.
So can I start, if you don't mind?
Yes, you can.
Honestly,
like, I don't think I would.
You don't think you would?
I was like, honestly, like, because I'm a student counselor. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave the students. And at first I was a teacher, and before that I was a residential advisor. I want to keep moving up in the company, just like I'm moving up in my nonprofit, because I feel like a lot of times when I was younger, people would ask me what I wanted to be. And they would say, just pick one thing. And I always try to tell students, you don't have to have one thing that you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. There are people, as we see right now, there's Diddy, there is Jay-Z. They own clothing lines, sports teams, music, Tidal. Like, they do multiple things. And I think just because, you know, they can, why can't I? So I want to still, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I still want to work my 9-to-5, and I want to have my nonprofit, and I want to have an event planning business, and I want to do a book, you know. So it's so many things that I have on my to-do list that I want to do, and I don't want to stop because I have one thing, if that makes sense. Makes sense. But if I get tired, I will stop.
I'll say for me, because I'm in IT, I pretty much work wherever, right? I don't have to necessarily be on site at a location. At one point I had 2 full-time jobs and running my business. You know, it's something you have to know when you're ready, right? For me, I'm 37 this year, and I now run 3 businesses. So from FOU-DRE to my distribution business, where I'm helping other minorities in this industry get their products to market. So I'm a distributor for 12 other brands right now, including my own. And then of course I have my festival that is annual. And that once we complete 1 year of the festival, planning starts right again for next year. So we never stop. And so I think you just have to know when is the right time to stop your 9-to-5. For me, that time has yet to present itself. It still aids in my personal lifestyle that I like to have, and that way I don't have to dip into any other money, you know? So I just think if you can balance it, why not? If it's something that it's hindering your business from really getting to the peak that you want it to get to, then you have to make a decision that's best for you. And I think that's for everybody when it comes to deciding when to leave their full-time job and fully focus on their business.
I have one question before I see this other question that made me chuckle in the chat. Talking about balancing, time is a major thing. How do you balance all that you do, still working the 9-to-5? Like, how do you balance? Because there's not enough time in the day. Do you get sleep?
I barely get sleep, actually. And you know, I literally just did a major speech, and my speech talked. I had to write a letter to my 16-year-old self, and that's how I started my speech. And when writing that letter, I realized the things I'm telling my 16-year-old self, I actually really need to implement. Right? Take time for yourself. I rarely do that. Right? Enjoy the small wins. I rarely do that, you know, but it's important that we do, because if we get lost in all that we're doing and not actually enjoying the accomplishments, then, you know, we're not really enjoying the things that we're accomplishing. You know, we're just moving on to the next thing. So you have to find balance. Time management is important, but you also have to know when to rest. That's so important. You can't just keep going, going, going. That's who I am naturally. And I'm now learning that balance is important and that work will always be there, right? It's not going anywhere. And your health and peace of mind you need that. You need that time away to kind of refuel so you could come back, fresher. And, so it's tough, but you find balance, especially when you're very ambitious. So
I definitely will have to agree with that. Time management is key to a lot of different things. I actually had the opportunity to be around someone who she works in, I guess it is women's reproductive health. She works for a company that was really busy. She was kind of like a spokesperson for it. And I just sat back and I observed her behavior. And she literally had like timers for her phone to start a new project, timers on her phone to go to bed. It was just like so organized. I'm not there yet, but I do know that after a certain task, it's like, you can't give any more energy to this task anyway. It's time to move on to another task. Let's double back. Even with my job, my 9 to 5, I have a to-do list. I literally have a to-do list to do another to-do list. It's literally that serious for me, so I can make sure that I stay organized. Because when you aren't organized, things get really messed up. People get disappointed, the support starts to disappear because you want to make sure that you have everything in order. So for myself, time management, you just have to sometimes just take a step back. You have to take a step back because you are not at your best when you're tired. You're not at your best when you are hungry. You're not at your best when you're trying to push yourself too hard. Have you ever tried to do something when you were sleepy and then realized it was messed up the next morning when you woke up? That's exactly how it is. So we have to make sure, just like people in college, somehow we managed to go to the club and still be prepared for our final exam the next day. Don't know how I did it, but whatever energy that was, I have to bring it to my current life right now to make sure that I can stay focused on multiple things. But you also have to just make sure that you are dedicated, and being an ambitious person, like Chanel said, it's whatever you do. Even if we didn't have our nonprofits, our business, we will still be working full time, pushing it because we're ambitious people. So you still will have to incorporate time management with that anyway.
That's so true. I had a question in the chat that said, when COVID is over, whatever that looks like, can Morgan do a trip to visit FOU-DRE?
Oh, most definitely. Yes. Our headquarters is in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Our warehouse is down that way. So we're local.
We all local.
Okay, we too close.
So that we could definitely make that happen. Yes.
Nice.
That sounds wonderful.
Drinks on me if you're 21. Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like Lauren's going to be tagging along with this Morgan trip. All down for that. Are there any more questions in the chat? Please ask them. I'm so excited for this panel discussion. This answered a lot of questions that everyone had. Someone said class of 2020 needs this.
Yeah,
yes, y'all do.
Yes,
y'all do. Yes, y'all do. Y'all
don't have nothing on y'all.
No. Bless your hearts. I feel y'all.
Seriously.
Seriously. Talking about balance, working from in-person to remote to everything. Our hearts go out to class of 2020. It really do. You're there. Almost make December. It's almost here.
Yes. Bernice, I do want to mention something. I was just thinking about it. I see two people mention something. One person, Jessica, I think she mentioned that she was a doula, and then we have another business called Beauty Mafia.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so wonderful that we all continue to connect the way that we're connecting. This is a big opportunity for all of us to make sure that we're working with people, talking to people. A lot of times people don't realize that when you go into business, the best thing you can do is partner up with another company.
Exactly.
You want to partner up with companies Now do your research on the company first. Don't just go partnering up with companies that you don't really know about. But for me personally, with me being a nonprofit, I had the opportunity to connect and partner up with 6 different companies, and it's just amazing. And they all have different missions. One is like a skincare product line. Another one is a CBD product line. You have another one that focuses only on skincare for women that have chronic illnesses. So it's just like everybody has their own mission and everybody has their own ideals that they want to bring to the table. But it's amazing when you can align yourself up with these other companies, and these companies say, hey, we want to support you because we like you enough that we like your mission. And you want to make sure that you continuously do that. And I think that with anything you do, partnerships and building is something that you, listen, it is an amazing feeling to have somebody support, but it's an amazing feeling to partner up with somebody and say, yeah, we partner with them. Like, yeah, don't worry. Let me get my coupon code real quick. You know, I can partner with these people and say that we actually have had Zoom meetings. We talked on the phone several times, and these people support me enough to say to their followers or their subscribers, hey, I want you to go and check this organization out. So it's great. It's all about building partnerships and building relationships with people, especially when you have a nonprofit or a business.
Exactly.
And just to piggyback on that, while you're building the relationships, maintaining them is important as well, right? I think we have a hard time sometimes maintaining relationships, and we lose contact with folks. And it's very important that we as individuals, when we make relationships and build on them, we maintain them so that, you know, we're not just calling on people when we need something, right? That's why maintaining them is so important, so that in the event you do need them, it's not like, you know, you're asking a favor out of the blue. You guys have an actual relationship. You've been maintaining a relationship, and, you know, they have no issues looking out for you. So I think that's important.
Right. Exactly. One more question in the chat. Chanel, can you speak to finding grants or investors for your business?
So grants, I think, are a little bit harder when you're in an industry such as mine. Investors now, they're definitely, you know, we've been approached before I even had a product come to market. I had one investor approach me wanting to purchase 70% of my business. And that was like year 1 of my business. And I was a little scared about that because obviously they saw my potential, right? Or they saw the potential of the business and was ready to want to take full control of my business and leave me with very little. So I did not at that time go for that investment deal. And then I would have to say, when I actually had a product that was ready to go to market, right? Because I did try to seek out investors pre-market, meaning my product was not on the market yet. And that was the wrong time for me to try to seek investors because I didn't have any data. They're very big on sales and data, and we had really nothing to propose to them as far as what we would be able to do in the market other than numbers that we pretty much projected. So then we decided, okay, we'll pull back and give ourselves a chance to kind of grow in the market before we reapproach investors. And we have yet to do that because we were waiting for our sales data to be to a point where we thought we were ready. We're ready now, but I'm also happy at the fact that where we are, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to give up any of my business right now. So.
Yeah, that's your baby. You're not giving that up. And Masterpiece said it. He said, if I'm worth this much right now, what you think my business is going to be in a couple of years?
Right. So I think I'm gonna, you know, right now it sustains itself and my staff that I have. That's why I had that 9 to 5, so I can take care of me. So, but yeah, I'm not ready yet. Not unless the deal is just so astronomical that I'm like, okay, you got it.
Stop your 9 to 5 and start something else.
Exactly.
Exactly. Wow. I'm really excited for this panel.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, both of you. This has been amazing. Before we leave, I'm going, okay, that's the thing, press the wrong button there. Have a few slides that for basically resources that students or anyone who is on the attendees could look into at their own time. We had a whole lot of resources, or a couple of resources that I looked at that can really help when it comes to businesses, anything when it comes to procrastination and fear or whatever. It's whatever you find, take the leap, see how it goes, the pros and cons, find your mentor and all of that. All these articles, and this one in particular, the picture, Procrastination is Killing Your Dreams, is actually a video on mental hacks to end procrastination. So you can really start and grow past that and really market and build your business to save the world and help each other in that part. So I'd like to thank our panelists again. This has been one of the things I really wanted to talk about because it's something different than a normal career development conversation. That's all of what our virtual tea parties are. We purposely decided to do something different this school year and just hone on to something that really isn't touched on from our department, but still talks through our Department of Defense as well. Okay. So thank you, Ms. Turner. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back to Chanel Turner, because I did say I was going to talk about this bottle, but she tried.
Okay. Oh, the bottle.
So let's talk about this right here.
Yes.
This lightning bolt.
Yes.
Of a bottle here that you have. Like, what was the vision? How did this come about? Because I was curious.
So FOU-DRE is a play on the French word for lightning, hence the bottle is a lightning bolt. Our bottle is made in France, and that all kind of came together when we ended up the only glass manufacturer that would even give us a shot in creating such a unique bottle was this glass manufacturer in France. And, you know, while we were still didn't have a name, while there, it came about while they were actually decided to take on our project. So it's a very unique bottle. When you think about vodka bottles, they pretty much all look the same. And when you go into a bar or restaurant, they align all their spirits together. So they put all the vodkas together, the whiskeys, the gins. And the vodka market is already saturated as is. And I just didn't want to have a bottle that would get lost in the sauce. Most of the other bottles, you know, they're clear, round bottles. They might have some different designs as far as their label is concerned, but they pretty much all look the same. So we wanted something that would stand out, you know, amongst all the other vodkas on the shelf. And so this is why we went that route. We chose the color purple because it means royalty. It also means unity, and I'm very big on that. And so that's why we went with that color. So yeah, that's the story behind the bottle.
That's gorgeous.
Marketing. Yes.
That's one of the things that you put on mantle and said, that's pretty.
Yeah, I think a lot of people used to save their bottles in college. That's something you actually supposed to keep.
Listen, I was one of those people that saved their bottles in college. I definitely would have saved this one.
I used to put like the glow sticks inside the bottles and put them on top of the refrigerator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But don't save this bottle though. Go ahead and throw it away and get you another one. You don't need to save it.
There we go.
I'll have a nice shelf full. But yes, indeed. But we do we have another question in the chat? Wait. But we definitely want to thank you again. Person in the chat said the bottle was hot. Yes, it is. That is one thing that you put on mantle, just like this thing is pretty. You say buy another one, and she's like, I will, but it's still gonna put on the mantle just so I have a row. But we definitely want to thank our panelists for this great conversation. This will not be the first conversation. This will be probably a series of other conversations based on entrepreneurship. But we thank you for kicking it off and getting the minds going for folks who are entrepreneurs to know what they can do next. And if they're not doing it now is the time to start working on where it goes and what you need to do to go ahead and execute this boss life, as they call it, because I'm old. So, I'm older than others.
Thank you.
That's right. You're not old.
Mm-hmm.
They just young.
There you go.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I mean, although I'm a Bowie State alum, I really appreciate the love and would love to come back anytime. Just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Definitely
you.
will.
Appreciate it. I hope that as soon as this is over, we can actually come on campus and probably do something, maybe like a a series where you bring all of the hosts back that you had.
I love that.
It permits.
But we'll talk about that event planner on the side. Because Lauren got 5,000 jobs. Well, thank you so much. This will be shown to folks who are interested in looking at it again for the folks who missed it. So thank you all again for the conversation, and we definitely welcome you back. For others, stay tuned. We have a list that's coming. So you'll be hearing from me soon.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Have a great one. Thank you again.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.